the biggest discovery, actually, one of the biggest discoveries I've been realizing is the power of giving more than you get.
Tell me about it.
I read this book, and I read this book called I was actually given to me by a friend of mine, actually, called The Go-Giver.
Oh yeah, I've read that.
And and I just kept thinking to myself, when you're in business, you're sometimes you forget about the importance of giving more value or giving something more for what you're actually getting back in return, because it creates good energy, creates good flow. And people who are very successful, most of them know that philosophy and practice it, pretty much all the time.
Yes.
So I think that's a good discovery I've been realizing is, don't get caught up in taking less or cutting back on stuff. Like, try to keep giving and supporting and being a good influence and being a giver, because it will come to you.
Yes.
You always get more. So I've learned that discovery from my own end.
So tell me, what's the one thing you can do in your life to apply that? So it's not just some cute idea you heard, but you can actually do something about it this week that you can measure.
Well, the one thing I'm going to say, Sean, is, what? These videos that you just mentioned, that's one right there, is giving more value back.
Fantastic. Exactly. What else?
I would say the other element is I want to be able to support my team more. So giving them like more, almost sending them, either buying them an audiobook or buying them a book and really helping develop them into better people. Here's
the thing. Let me make a suggestion right there. It's not always about spending money on people, although it's okay if you do, and if you feel called to it, that's good. I just had this idea, your team, they have like 10 people, whatever, however many people. If you just, make a comment, that's what Napoleon Hill teaches, is to go out of your way to help someone or give them a genuine compliment about their biggest character. Or let's say you're at Starbucks, and all of a sudden you remember your team told you something that helped you and inspired you. You just send them a Facebook message. Hey, listen, I was at Starbucks, and I was, this girl came to me and asked me, and then I remembered what you said to me that day. I just want to say thank you, and that what you told me really helped me. You're such an inspiration, or your commitment to doing good is amazing. So just tell them something good about themselves that helps their self-esteem.
Wow.
You're already building your team. You're giving them value. And you're not just saying that with fakeness, but you're sharing it from your heart.
That is huge, Sean. Wow.
So heartfelt sharing to people. Like, I actually started this process already because of the Think and Grow Rich. It's one of the exercises. And again, I'm going to go back to this because we said we're going to do this. We haven't really done this. We haven't done Think and Grow Rich the way I think we should be doing it.
I agree.
Because if we have done it, this would be part of our homework.
True.
Do you see what I mean?
100%.
So we would actually have to have calls about how did you give last week? Like for 7 days in a row, we have to give something for someone without expecting anything. That's part of the homework.
You're bang on. Yeah, you're bang on. And the 12 goals too.
Huge. 12, Goals are amazing. That's probably my breakthrough right now, right there. Is to remember number one goal and say it 12 times throughout the day.
Wow. Remember the number one goal and say it 12 times. And it sounds easy to say.
Yeah.
But put an application in the course of a day.
Did you try it?
I haven't tried it yet, no.
Oh man, give it a shot. It'll blow your mind. Because it's so difficult at first.
So Sean, let me ask you. So I'm going to go and ask you, what's your biggest discovery? But I almost want, if you don't mind, I want to tailor it towards Napoleon Hill. And it sounds like I already know the answer, but I want to see if maybe something else stirred up in your mind.
Huge, man. Okay, Napoleon Hill, listening to him every day has been a life changer. And I feel like, again, I'm repeating myself, but I feel like we have to go back to CD1, okay?
Yeah.
Watch it, and then what's the homework, and do it, and then stay on it to make sure we applied it. Because there's so much in there. We pass over it easy. Like, for example, on CD 3 or 2, it talks about positive personality, how to have a positive attitude, right?
Right.
Now, there was 20 points on these 20 habits of having a positive personality. Did you know that?
I did not know that. No.
Okay, well, that's what I mean. So we haven't actually done the work. We don't know what the hell he's teaching. We don't actually know anything. You know, he wrote volumes. You know how many books he wrote?
A ton.
He wrote a ton, and he's not a guy who likes to ramble on about bullshit. He actually had to say something. You know, look, these things that he shared isn't just trash to fill up paper, but it's actually things that we need to learn. So what I'm suggesting here, we need to go back and we got to study it with a highlighter and apply it. So for example, these 20 habits, for example, one of them is to laugh when shit goes wrong. When, let's say, your team doesn't show up or something bad happens, you start having a belly laugh. You actually laugh. That's a habit. I didn't even know. I didn't think about this. That's one habit. So we can actually hold each other accountable. Hey, did you laugh this week? You know, did you do it?
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm realizing, bro, is I'm realizing, okay, with Napoleon Hill, we have to almost shut every other book out right now. We have to completely, obviously our business, our everything else, our goals is critical. But when it comes to the personal development side of things, we have to put this number one.
Oh, yeah.
Because if we don't, we're not going to commit to getting it done.
I agree. However, like I find for me, I start the day for about 10-15 minutes of Napoleon Hill, and that's it's been working pretty well. Like I keep him in front of my mind, and I apply the material daily. So like I make notes of it, and then I try to do the homework that day. And my reading is basically that's the most important part. And then I also do marketing because marketing is an important part of my business. I have to learn marketing. So personal development marketing is very, very, very close for me. And then at nighttime, for 10 minutes or so, I read something about like law of attraction or something else, spirituality.
That's awesome, bro. So basically, what you're doing is every morning you're doing Napoleon Hill, and you're also reading at the end of the day.
I'm also reading, not Napoleon Hill, but something else. But Napoleon Hill usually starts the day for me. Because that's how I get the inspiration foundation to make sure that I'm still making sure not just listening to it, but because it's easy to listen to it and be like, all right, that was kind of cool, I felt good, but to do the homework.
So what we almost need to do, bro, then is right now in the next minute or so to set some actual goals for this week.
Now we're talking
on what we have to get done for this Napoleon Hill.
Yes.
Don't leave this call with something.
Yes. Done. See, now we're talking business.
Okay, so let's set some goals here.
I like it. Okay, so for me, a goal would be for the next week. Okay, every single day on my way back from the gym, I'm going to have a belly laugh for 1 minute. And if something goes wrong, if somebody pissed me off or something goes as unexpected, I'm going to laugh for 2 minutes.
This is awesome. Belly laugh for 2 minutes.
So funny. So then we have to put it to test. So that's one homework for me. And also I'm going to listen to Think and Grow Rich 15 minutes every morning, 10-15 minutes, and just make notes.
So my goal is to just basically I've watched the videos. I have to do the homework. So I have to go back to number one, and actually do the one goal for 12 times a day. That's my first absolute thing I have to get done.
12 times. Excellent. And you know what? I put it into my tracker sheet. Okay.
Oh, nice.
So I put down, remember goals 12 times a day, goals hourly. I put it on a tracker sheet so I can track it. I also put down 1 minute of laughter.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, because I've already been trying to work on this because I realize how difficult it is to do this, to remember all this. So put it in your tracker, and then maybe on our weekly mastermind, we can bring our trackers, and then we can say, all right, how did you do? Where are you at with that? But the whole point is for us, by the end of the next few months, we have actually finished the entire Napoleon Hill and have done the exercises.
100%, man. And I have this other Think and Grow Rich workbook, which probably a lot of it actually relates to some of the actual material, but this workbook could be a nice little actual addition to our Think and Grow Rich principles after we finish this program.
Yes, I think that's a great idea, and it's always a great resource to go after, but I think it's better for us not to get too distracted with too many resources. Stick to what we have, stick to the CD1, do the one exercise, and just make sure that the habits are locked in before getting any other information.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
100%.
before we remember our goals 12 times a day, what difference does it make if we try to like figure out the latest, greatest technique of positivity? You know, if you don't
Yeah,
actually remember your goal, for example, you know what I mean?
exactly.
So I think the
100%.
foundation stuff is very, very important. The foundation, which is Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. You know, and this is the thing, bro. So basically, you've added that to your tracker. What do you have for accountability besides the belly laugh? What else do you have? Do you have anything else?
That's all I'm gonna be accountable for. Is just laugh.
Okay, so
Yeah, man.
like
I have
belly
a whole
laugh. Okay,
list.
this
I
is
have, you know, last night's sleep. My sleep is 10:30 time. Wake up at 4:30 a.m. Cardio every single day. Gratitude, an hour meditation morning, an hour meditation at night. One delivered video inspired from the heart every day. Self development 30 minutes. Goals 12 times a day. Food tracking every single day. Nap, you know,
Wow.
midday, and 1 minute of laughter.
So when do you sleep?
You know, it's pretty amazing. I feel like I discovered the code, okay?
Wow.
I feel like I discovered the code of the guru, okay? This is the code. This is the code of the guru. You know how?
Napoleon's gonna come as a ghost beside your shoulder and say, "Sean, you are my next protege." Write my next book, Sean Stewart.
You know, let me tell you, the code of the guru is to sleep, you know, but wake up early, but have a nap in midday. That's the code of the guru for me. Is to actually have like an hour sleep if I need to. You know, by like midday after about 4-6 hours of actual work, then I have a nap for an hour. Then I wake up and start working again for 2 hours. Then I work out. I feel that's just been really working really well in the past week. So
whatever you do, bro, just watch that stick and don't stick that stick up your nose or whatever.
you know what this one is? This is the one from Harv Eker's seminar. So you're gonna get one of these soon. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh wow!
This is a very powerful one. It is to break through your fears. This is the stick to break through fears, and you see on top of it, it's written down what I was afraid of, and I broke through it.
That's incredible, man.
And I used the softest area of my body to break it. And you're gonna do the same thing.
No way.
Yeah. So this is to break the fear of being judged and worrying about what people think. And the shocking, and this is probably the last thing I share, is the most amazing thing. We did this exercise, right? We all wrote down our fears on this, and then I broke it, and I just kept going to a few people. I was like, wait a minute, what was your fear? What was your fear? What was your fear? And you know what? I had this hugest aha moment, light bulb moment, is when everybody almost told me the same thing.
Are you serious?
Yeah. It's like I went to this person, it's like, what was your fear? Oh, okay. What was your fear? Oh, okay. What was your fear? We all had pretty much the same thing. And the fear was what? Can you guess?
The fear was not being good enough.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
yeah?
that's it. Not being good enough. What people are going to think of me. Am I worth it? What if I fail? You know, I wrote down here, failure in playing big, not being good enough. Everybody had the same thing. And no wonder why nobody's getting anywhere, because we're afraid of being judged. And then a guy like Tony Robbins comes and says, bring me any problem you have and I'll solve it in 5 minutes. You know, and he doesn't even know what he's doing. He's just, he's just making it up. And it works. You know?
Wow.
It's just, that's what we're talking about in Think and Grow Rich. He's talking about the same thing. It's the power of belief. It's when we align our will to our divinity and we speak from the truth, and we are believing in what we're saying from the heart, so everybody else who is afraid, they all start believing, and that's the power. So the power of belief.
The power. You're right. The power of belief. Instilling in the subconscious mind the pattern of belief that we absolutely will achieve our goals, or whatever belief system that we want to have.
Yes.
We must ingrain that in ourselves.
Yes, and we just believe it without any evidence of actually having it.
Yeah. You know what's funny about this, bro, is that, again, it's so easy to say this, but the other thing is how many people actually do this? Like, seriously, if you think of people in Calgary, Alberta, how many people actually sit down and go over their power of belief, their goals 12 times a day? Like, you look, counting your finger, people actually do that on a regular basis. So
yes,
it goes to show, how determined we are and how unique we are. But we also need to be leaders, bro. like in the industry of going and inspiring people to do this. Because the thing is, the world needs people like us. Because I'm going back to what your fear was, but it's the same fear as for me. It is too, right? But now we're turning this whole thing around backwards, because now we're coming from an angle of giving, the go-giver attitude, giving and supporting and loving people, where we have this fear of, well, I don't want to do that because I don't want to be vulnerable and express myself. But if you do that and you just break that pattern, you will inspire 5 or 10% more people to do their goals and their dreams. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think you're bang on that. And we got to lead by showing vulnerability, speaking from the heart, and allowing others to, feel like they relate to us. And yes, we're going to get a few people who are going to make fun or laugh or, screw, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's okay. Let them do that. Like Jim Rohn says, people who are mockers and laughers, why? Because they're mockers and laughers. That's what they do best. There's no problem.
Exactly.
Why they do that? Well, they're mockers and laughers. Okay, great. They can do their own thing. We don't mind. But anyway, I want us to stay accountable to our time. So we're just a little bit past 8. So let's wrap this call up. So what was the biggest thing from the call that you got? What was the biggest takeaway that you're going to apply? And then we finish on that.
Well, I have more than one, but I'm just going to say the one that you're asking for. So the biggest takeaway for me was just the immense value you gave to me on this video.
Excellent,
so I want to say thank you, Sean, for that.
Excellent. What was the biggest value?
The biggest value is the value of that video. Like understanding
which video?
The video for INBF.
Oh, okay. Athletes. Excellent. Now I'm looking forward to your video, man.
Well, I really thank you, Sean, because you've really, again, I'm just gonna say this one last thing, because you've really inspired me, not just with the videos, but just our calls and our meetings. Like, for example, I wouldn't be thinking of competing if it wasn't for our meting we had. And, you kept challenging me, asking me these great questions.
Yes.
And you broke through some barriers for me, man. Like, seriously. And I always thought I was a positive guy. But I'm telling you, man, that's what it comes down to. People you surround yourself around are everything to your success in life.
And you know what? I think it's great that you bring it up, because I feel the same gratitude for you. Like, I feel like everything that you're sharing, I feel like I'm actually getting it back in like 10 times fold,
Awesome.
So like as a result of you deciding to compete, I am actually on fire. I wasn't even that serious about it, but I was like, wait a minute, like this guy is killing it. Like, he's tracking everything, his workouts on, is like, wow, like I'm amazed of how great you're like rocking it. And again, Stefan inspired me, so I shared with you, and then you inspired me back, and it's amazing, So as a result of that, in fact, as a result of our calls every day, I feel like the most on track. Like, I was reading, again, this is another tangent, but I was reading this book on Ask and It's Given, and it talks about when your emotional system, when you feel really good, it means that you're connected to the source energy.
Correct.
Right? So as a result of our calls and, being disciplined and tracking, I feel connected to my source energy. I feel like I'm my best.
Oh, yeah.
So this is such a gift, which is, it's mutual. So thank you very much, and thank you for expressing your gratitude. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Sean. Now I want to hear, what's your biggest takeaway from this call? What's your biggest breakthrough or takeaway?
Biggest breakthrough and takeaway is just, like, I think overall sharing what's been in my heart about my inspiration to actually share my competition, and biggest takeaway is also sharing about the video coming from the heart, and being vulnerable, and the power of that, So that's kind of a big deal, and it's just like, as I shared with you and you understand it and you relate to it, I feel like I'm learning it at a core level, and I don't even know what I know until you challenge me or you ask me something, you know? So as a result of you asking me or I share it, I'm like, wait a minute, these are all actually coming out of my mouth. Okay, now I know it. That's the power of Mastermind. That's the power. That's what Napoleon Hill talks about. It changes our brain to a new level of thinking that wasn't before.
And bro, I have to say, when it comes to Napoleon's principles, I think the Mastermind principle is one of the top 3 out of all his principles, because you need to surround yourself around those powerhouse people who will mastermind with you. I don't care if it's 5 minutes a day, whatever. I don't care if it's once a week, whatever. You need to be around that, man, because I remember when I wasn't masterminding as much, and I was almost like lazy with my goals.
Yeah.
Because I almost got too comfortable.
Yeah.
But when you're with an awesome friend like you, bro, like an absolute sensational of life, and seriously, like you are an amazing guy,
Thank
and
you.
we're helping each other, even though we don't even realize that we're sharing these goals. I want you to leave this call with more insight for your life,
Yes.
more insight for your goals. I want you to start your weekend off absolutely freaking powerhouse sensation where you're breaking through your bed, you're pounding holes in walls, and you're just breaking through goals like nothing like tomorrow, right? So I just want to say thank you for your time in making these calls because it really means a lot to me. So